Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Friday to you and your family. Hope you're doing very, very well. And again, tuning in from Seattle, Washington. I just want to kind of touch on some things here today, of course. With Bitcoin, there's some really interesting patterns that are forming. I want to make sure we address that and hopefully kind of learn and grow together here today, of course. And if you are new to the channel, just know I love teaching people to trade. Hopefully, you can learn a thing or two here today. And if you do want that for yourself, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. I do help you become a better trader by teaching you everything I know, of course, in my trading academy, but I also have signals that I send out as well to kind of share my trades with you so you see specifically what that looks like. And obviously an amazing community where we all, again, we learn and grow together. That's the whole concept. So here's kind of some important stuff I want to address with you. First of all, not liking the look of this candle closure yesterday. Not only did it wick all the way up to almost 25,000, get rejected, but it also is giving us a kind of an ominous gravestone candle. Now, if you're not familiar with gravestone candles, they're essentially look just like this, whereas the price action opened and closed at the exact same time in a 24-hour period. Problem with that is it went up by a full 1,000 and back down in that time frame. So that 4% adjustment was essentially it's null and void now, right? It's nullified, essentially no longer a thing. So even though we did kind of break through that key level resistance, we still got rejected too. Okay, so not super awesome. I don't love the look of this, and that does kind of spell some larger potential problems. And let's just go ahead and address that too, so you can kind of get perspective of what I'm talking about. First of all, we are holding above moving averages. We still have this ascending trend. As I've mentioned before, that the trend is your friend. So if we still can maintain a price point of, say, 23,500 or higher over the next few days, we might be in good shape. But I want to kind of play devil's advocate here today and kind of help you kind of see what potential we might have if it goes the other direction, right? In other words, what does a bear flag look like? So, again, I'm not trying to concern you per se, but when you have multiple contacts, multiple connections, so to speak, on a trend line, it tends to kind of reiterate itself. And yesterday, of course, we got this candle wick up, got rejected right there at about 25,000. So again, we've hit almost 4 points. I guess if you exclude the very first, you're looking at 3 additional retests of that trend line, which could spell a reversal. I mean, I'm not saying it's just going to drop like a rock, but we could very well see that $14,000 price point or in that range potentially soon if this bear flag breaks down. Okay, so again, just kind of want to throw that out there. It's not saying, I'm not trying to, say you want to short just nonstop moving forward and that, no long position is viable at this point. I still think there's potential in either direction, but at this point, we don't have full-on confirmation, and it might be best to wait a little bit because it does just kind of feel slightly ominous. Anyways, just something to throw out there. Let's look at all the other stuff as well, kind of see where we're at. We do have a support at 50 on the RSI, of course, which is roughly concurrent with 23,000. We addressed that yesterday. And of course, we've got a MACD, not really convergence or divergence, right? So just kind of saying that it's drawing dead, which is not great or terrible. But if we kind of look at previous patterns when the price action was kind of going up and down in that range here, just before we had this breakdown of the previous bear flag, you can effectively see a similar pattern. Again, it's not exact, definitely not. I would say there's a similarity per se, but not dramatic either. So again, do not walk away from this conversation thinking that I am completely bearish. I just want you to know that it is a possibility and that we can't rule it out, and that it might be advantageous to consider waiting on the sidelines for some of these plays. Again, just waiting for confirmation, right? If we can break this ascending trend or this, this trend line that we have above the price action, then great, we should be in good shape. But until we do, we got to kind of assume that anything could happen. Taking a look at 50 on the RSI, of course, we got to bounce off that, which was nice. It does reiterate the support level here at about 23,700. We also have a MACD divergence that is still potentially diverging. So again, when you see this kind of behavior, it's not necessarily appropriate to take a long position. All right, so again, we have slightly, it's more like conflicting information on the 4-hour time frame here, which is neither good nor bad. It just is what it is, and you want to kind of maybe sometimes wait in order to find out where the price is going to go from here. Just kind of feels like there's something that could happen. Oh, duh, right? It's a big surprise. Something's going to happen. But you get on what I'm saying. It just kind of has that weird feeling right now that I'm not as confident as I was yesterday, just based on how hard the price action got rejected, and that doji candle does concern me more than just some of this neutral behavior on the 4-hour. So again, we got conflicting info on the 4-hour, really just telling us could go either direction. Looking at the hourly though, if we take a look here, of course, we came down to a 9, got a reset, went sideways. Previously, we hit 2 9s in a row, so a correction makes perfect sense. It is consolidating now at that support and resistance level. So again, a good couple of candlestick closures above 24,000, I'm going to feel much better. Honestly, today, taking a trade into the weekend may not be the best call. And honestly, again, just kind of further that, as part of my signals that I send out, you might see me waiting on the sidelines until we get some confirmation before we take a position based on the fact that we kind of are at this neutral stance right now. We are not sure if it wants to go up or down. And that concerns me greatly, great enough to kind of sit on the sidelines and not trade. Again, I know it's a difficult thing for a lot of folks, but you got to learn to just kind of chill and relax and not force a trade. And that's kind of what you'd be doing right now. And here's why. Because if we look at the lagging span, first of all, it's pretty muddled. It's kind of right there, right at the support level. Generally speaking, it's soon to intersect with price action. Typically not a good call to take a short based on that info. We also see the price action essentially bounced off the lower lead on the cloud, which is a positive sign, right? But again, we're not above the cloud, nor do we have confirmation, so why take a trade? We shouldn't. I know it seems juicy, and yes, I want to get in at 24,000 and right up to 24.4 and get out, but that's not exactly the way it should work. We also need to acknowledge that the conversion lines below the baseline kind of giving us indication that the momentum is still bearish, right? So we got bearish momentum with, you could say, potentially a bearish bounce off of the lower lead, and the lagging span kind of just hanging out right there, soon to intersect. So those are 3 things that are just not advantageous whatsoever. The code for the Ichimoku cloud is to wait for the price to be above, conversion line above the baseline, and the lagging span, free and clear price action. We really don't have any of those things right now. So why take a trade? Why force a trade? It's really not, it's kind of pointless. You might benefit, but I can tell you in the long run, big picture, you will get wiped out eventually if you continue to ride the lightning and effectively gamble, I guess you could say. And to me right now, we got it's a pretty big gamble, honestly, with the big picture and what we're looking at here. I mean, this does look all well and good. These candle wicks up look like they want to try to break through this resistance, but we're having a significant problem doing so. And again, if we take a look at this, it just seems like it might actually happen. We may actually see a rejection and continuation of the downside. But we want to kind of hold on to our shirts instead of losing our shirts, and effectively make sure we just wait for some kind of confirmation. And to me, confirmation would be a solid closure above 24,000. We still have yet to do that. I don't think that'd be a full-on confirmation. We'd like to look at some other things too. I would say a break above 25 would be even better. In other words, a candlestick closure over 25, that's asking a lot right now. But at this point, it does look like the bulls are losing somewhat of their momentum, right? And when the momentum is lost, the bearish momentum can gain as well. So again, I would just recommend just being cautious and careful right now. If you're gonna be day trade, please, very, very carefully, and use small position sizes. And if I end up taking a trade here soon, there's a handful of altcoins that look pretty decent right for the picking. But we need to wait for Bitcoin to make up its mind. If Bitcoin dumps tomorrow, alts are going to take a hit. There's just no other way around it. So again, cautious and careful. I think we should just be nice and patient for the moment and wait for Bitcoin to choose a side. Again, a closure above 24,000 would be a decent indication. I don't think it's going to be a full-on confirmation, but it absolutely would be beneficial. But if we do lose this trend line, I think there's a stronger likelihood the price will continue lower. All right, so again, we want a closure above 23,500 at the very least, but preferably 24 or higher. That's ultimately what I'm looking for. All right, well, hopefully you learned something here today, and this was beneficially insightful for you. Again, it's not ominous. We're not like super scared, but I can tell you that this indecision is not. I'm not loving it, and I hope that you can kind of just be patient and not get wrecked as well. Okay, so make sure you do that. Take a break for a little while. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And the key in any market, specifically a bear market, which we're still not totally confirmed that we're out of it yet, is that it's important to make sure that you survive to trade another day. That's kind of the bottom line. And right now, it's all about survival. So again, the key to being a good trader is to be able to not only thrive in specific markets, but survive the bear market. And that's where we're at right now. All right. enough rambling. Hope this made sense to you, and I hope that you can learn from this. And if so, great. Comment below, all that good stuff. If you want to become a better trader, once again, CryptoCache.tech is the site, link in the description below. I look forward to working with you all. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time.